Hello everyone. I would like to thank you for joining us for another edition of the QuikStor University webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how to use the internet settings in QuikStor Express and how they relate to e-commerce and other features in the program that can only make your life easier and obviously increase customer service and satisfaction for your customers. So certainly want to thank you guys for spending the time to be with us. As always, if you do have other questions after we are done, we always encourage you to email. You can email support@quikstor.com or webinar@quikstor.com. This webinar will be made available online for future viewing should you want to view it again. But a lot of the information we're going to be covering is also covered in our new support center, which can be found at support.quikstor.com. So let's get started. First things first, we're going to go over to where the internet settings are located, and I'll show you where they are in both locations. Just because most people, or I don't know which you guys prefer, but I do want to show you how to get to them in both cases. So for those of you that are using the modern view with the ribbon up here on top, you would click the QuikStor logo up at the top. And you're going to go here to Internet Setup, and that's going to bring us our Internet Settings page. For those of you that are still using the original format, all you have to do is click on File, and right over here, Internet Setup is how you get to where we are going to be looking today. So now that we're here, we have some tabs over here on the left that allow us to make the changes we need to make to put the settings in. To adjust our e-commerce, to adjust where the emails go, to make sure that we can even email our customers. And so I want to just go through a couple basics here. Some of the things I'm going to talk about here on this first page with your mail server settings have specifically to do with your email provider. So I have a Gmail account that I've set up here for my QuikStor Cargo email, and I've put this information in here. And you can find your settings real easily. Like if you have Gmail, you can type in Gmail. It's going to be you want to type in this phrase right here, SMTP server, and Google will provide you with that information. It's the very same information that you would put into your Outlook, or if you use another mail program, this information is usually given very easily from your email provider, whether it's Gmail, Yahoo, your internet service, whatever it is. They have this information readily available to give to you. So all you have to do is copy the information in and make sure that your settings are set correctly. For Google, it does require a different port than what is default. The default port is 25, but Google requires that you use port 465. And again, if none of this makes sense to you, all you have to do is Google your email settings for your email provider, and it will show up likely with everything you need on that page, and Google will probably have that for you as well. For here, you're going to type in the SMTP server name for Google. It's smtp.gmail.com. Then you're going to type in your account name. This is going to be what you use to log into that account when you go to check your mail. Then down below, obviously, you're going to have to put in the password that's associated with that account, which I've entered in here. Now, not every mail service requires you to use what's called secure password authentication. In my case, Google does, and so you check that box, and it works just fine. But once you have this information entered in, you can hit the test button, and it's going to go ahead and send an email to the email that I have here. Now, it's going to take just a second. But there you go. The test message has been sent, and I can see over on my other screen that I did get that email, which I can show you guys in a little bit. But if it does not work, if you did not put the right password in, if you did not have the right port, it will show up with a message that says that this is not correct. But this tool right here, just the basic setting up your email address in the program, which is a basic feature of the standard and the professional software. The light version does not allow this. We can likely add that for you, but we'd like to have you, give us a call so we can talk with you about what that involves. But this allows you to email not just your customers, but you can email reports and other notices to either ownership, to yourself, to your managers, and we're going to go through what a couple of these tabs over here are to get to those points. Now, one thing down here under miscellaneous options, we have a process outbox during the overnight process. Those of you that are QuikStor users know that QuikStor has an overnight process that it runs just after midnight or whatever you have it set to do. Now, basically when we create an email, which we're going to do in a little bit, it's going to place that email in the outbox. Now, that outbox will only process if you go tell it to, or if you go and, or if you let it process automatically during the overnight process, which is what this box is for. So your emails, unlike when you send them from your Gmail account, they don't go out right away. They sit there waiting until you are for sure that you've gotten everything you needed, and then it sends it all at once. And I'll go over that in a little bit when we look at the outbox and create an email. But if you do want to have these go out automatically, you do need to have that box checked. That is an important process. The next box down here below for the updated IP address, for those of you that are likely using our newer e-commerce that we have created, this does not apply to you. This service isn't needed, and so you don't really need to worry about this box, and certainly this here, the RAS dialer is not something you need. That was for the days when you had to use a dial-up phone to get your email out, which we all know are likely not in our offices anymore. So that's the basics of setting up your email. This is what's going to appear where the email is from up here. So you want to make sure you have this spelled correctly so that people can respond back to it, and also just so it looks as professional as possible. So that's the basic mail server settings for QuikStor Express that allows you to accomplish those things. Moving down the tabs here, I mentioned that this email setting allows you to send reports. It allows you to send a database backup to either management or the ownership or whoever you need to send it to. So this first section, the daily report, you can have the daily report and daily collections and occupancy and collections reports sent directly to an email address listed right here whenever you'd like, or rather during the overnight process. So every night it can send an email address, and you can have it. I just have a random manager at storage.com that if I have this set up and I let it run overnights, it will send these reports, the daily report, the occupancy report, to this email address. And you can add more to it by having a semicolon. So I can type in more here, and you can add as many as you'd like to make sure that all the people that you need to get that email can receive it as it processes. So feel free to use that feature. And this is a nice thing. Now this is a little different than the report scheduler. This is just for these specific reports listed here. And we, as you guys know, we do have a webinar on the report scheduler or some support information in the support center on how to set those reports, any report in the program, to be emailed to you automatically. But just covering some options here, these are the daily ones that can be sent out. Moving down to the, I'm sorry, and also if you have an email address for your phone that you want to have a report sent as a PDF or a JPEG image, whichever you prefer, whichever is easiest to open on your phone. Most smartphones, iPhones, Android phones these days don't even need anything specific. They can open pretty much any regular attachment that you would send. But if you do have an older phone that prefers a JPEG image, you can set this up, and so it will send these things that way, and that's a feature of our remote mobile reporting option. Moving down the list to our database backup section, one of the nice features, and in some cases it's not necessary if you are using e-commerce and have your database synchronized with our server, you don't really need to have a backup, or if you're on our quick backup plan, you don't need a backup there either. But if you don't, and you just have QuikStor Express Standard or Professional, and you want to set up a Gmail account, you can send your database every night to that Gmail account, so you always do have a backup. Now, if you have a large amount of units, I do want to warn you that sometimes this database file size can get quite large. Now, obviously, Google's not going to have a problem storing that for you, but your email provider might have a problem with you sending that large of a file. You can go in and archive your database to reduce the size, and you can find out how to do that in our support center if you do start to get error messages when you're trying to send your database out. But this is a nice no-cost way, as long as you're using Standard or Professional, to get your database backed up. Again, if you're not using the quick backup, or if you're not synchronized to our server with e-commerce or smart client features. So again, just like before, you can type in the email address you'd like to send this to. You can put in additional email addresses down here in the copy section, and they will go out automatically, and it's a beautiful thing. So very easy steps there to get the database backup. Another useful report that you can have sent outside of the report scheduler is the 3 available report. This is the very useful report that provides the 3 vacant units for each unit type that you have. Now, you may have more than 3, but it will show you only 3, and this is nice for if someone calls and you want to have this information at your fingertips. Let's say you're out of the office, you can have this this report, and it'll tell you that you have 3 5x10s. It'll also give you the prorated amount for the day of the report. So if it was the 20th and you have a $30 a month rent, you can tell that person, it's going to be $10 to put you through to the 1st for the rest of the month, and then $30 a month after that. You can sound like a professional. You have that information. You can say, I have unit A26 for you right now. Why don't you come on down, and I'd love to rent it to you. But again, this is a nice, easy way to get this report in your hands. Of course, it can print out for you if you are on site, but if you're not going to be on site, having it emailed is an easy way to have that take place. The on-demand reports in the report scheduler section. Will be sent to. Now, before we jump into the e-commerce section, I want to touch on this section down here at the bottom, the partners integration. You guys have all heard of the storage aggregators and call service centers that are out there in the industry as adding value to what you can do for your customers, whether it's helping them find you online and get your units rented or reserved, or it's a call center allowing them to have calls forwarded to them and then have them rent units for you. We have created a way for those companies, and you can see those companies on our partners page on QuikStor.com. You can give them access, and you can actually create a username for them and name the account or name it, and so that they can actually move people in for you. So this is something that we need to turn on for you if you're going to be having this. But once it's turned on, and you do have to be using e-commerce. There has to be a connection to our server for your customers to be able to use this information online, and also our partners in the industry. But you can type in the name of whatever company you're going to work with, and you can assign them a username and password of your choosing, and then you give that to them. You can send that to them via email. They'll know exactly what you need to do, and then they'll be able to do whatever their service is, whether it's rent units, reserve units, and they can take care of all that for you. And you will also be able to track those transactions right here from the program, because they'll be assigned a specific username. I'm not going to create one here, but it's very simple. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to let us know. The Dyn DNS section here is not really important anymore, since we just recently changed the way we did e-commerce. So you can feel free to ignore that. That probably will be taken out in the next version of Express. But getting here to the meat and potatoes of what we're going to talk about today, we're going to go through how these settings here affect your e-commerce page. Now, we get a lot of questions about this. We love to hear that you guys are looking into this and make sure that it's all working for you. But there are some settings on here that may not be clear, and we want to be sure that we are doing everything we can to make this as useful of a tool for you as we can. So going here from the top, allowing a payment 1 week before advertising. Now, if you don't want them to be able to pay within a week, then you would uncheck this box. Now, people that are in that status would not be able to make a payment. So if you check this box, they can make a payment up to 1 week. Other than that, they do not qualify when they are in that status of delinquency. So that's an important thing to decide which way you want to go on that. If you've already put the overlock on and you want to kind of follow up with them more, or if it's if the balance is really out of control and you're worried that they might come in, pay the bill and then come and grab all their stuff, you want to make sure you control that stuff. So you can control that using this box right here. Now, as you'll notice, I'm going to bring over the e-commerce page that we have created for this today. For those of you that do not have e-commerce, this is an online center that allows you to have your customers log in and pay their bill, but you can also rent and reserve a unit. Now, there are plenty of people out there that do not like the idea of renting a unit to someone that they have never met. And that is perfectly understandable. We are right in line with you there, and we want to make sure that we provide you the tools to take that away from the options here, if that is the case and that's what you want to do. So as we go back to this page here, there is a box that says to allow rent a unit. If you uncheck this box and then save it, it will disable that rent a unit section from the e-commerce. Now I'm not going to do it just here for the purpose of our webinar, but if you don't want to offer that, you can certainly uncheck that and it will just take this tab away. There'll only be 3 tabs and it makes it real easy. Now you do have over here on reservation options, you can also do the same with reserve a unit, so really the only option you would leave is to make a payment and check your account for existing customers, which is fine. We understand that there's scenarios out there in the industry that does not allow you to rent or reserve a unit online, and that's why we've given you these options to take these things away. But now, one thing that I have enabled here, and this is a question that we get a lot, is allowing your tenants to edit their information once they're online. We've given you 3 options. You can disable it completely so that they cannot do anything with their information. They need to call you to have it changed. You can give them free access to change whatever you want, or you can enable it so that they can only log in and change blank fields. So if you did not take their cell phone number or their work address, or rather their work phone number, and they go to their online payment center and they see that those fields are blank, they can fill those fields and only those fields in first. So you can decide whichever way you want. A lot of people just leave it disabled because they want to make sure that the customer doesn't change their information and then go completely delinquent, and then you have no way to follow up with them or any action to take and nowhere to send letters anymore. So you can certainly pick which way you want to go there. Now, as you notice, up here at the top, you have a home button. If I click this, this will take me to the page that I have listed here. So you want to make sure that this takes you to your website. Now, this is not your website. Let me point out, this is an e-commerce page that we create. It's always going to say ecom.quikstor.com, and then it'll have your site name listed right here. So you want to make sure that your home button reflects the website that you want this to be redirected to. In my settings here, I have it set to go to QuikStor. If I click on the home button, it takes me to QuikStor.com. So, and that's exactly what I have listed here. So getting down to a couple more settings here, e-commerce forcing the prorate on move-in. Now, those of you that are a first-of-the-month facility, you can force a prorate, so it just automatically moves them to the first. Now, you notice the button below that allows you to check the box to not only force that, but to include 1 month day rent after the 15th, or you can pick a day. So if you want to have it be, so if they rent a unit after the 9th or the 10th or whatever day you'd like, it will prorate them to the first and charge them an additional month. There are a lot of you that don't feel that charging enough, a partial month's rent is enough to secure the rest of the month, but completely up to you. And again, we want to make sure that we are giving you guys the options to run your business how you want to, so you have those choices there. Now, this is kind of a default setting. A lot of people don't use this because they just want to show all the units they have, but this will only show the 6 standard type of units: the 5x5, the 5x10, the 10x10, the 10x15, the 10x20, and the 10x25, as shown here. So if you check these, this will limit what shows up on the e-commerce and on the online payment center just to this right here. Now, this last box right here, which you will see demonstrated in just a few minutes, when someone rents a unit online or makes a payment, you'll get a little notification bar down here in the bottom, on the bottom right. And if you don't want those to happen, and I really can't think of a scenario that you wouldn't want them to happen, you can certainly uncheck this box and they will not take place. So completely up to you, but I find it a pretty useful feature. Getting down here to the available credit cards, this is the place where when your customers have the option to pay their bill at the end, you need to make sure that this matches whatever you are offering from your credit card provider. If you're not offering American Express, you can uncheck this box and make sure that's taken away. Most of the time, Master, Discover, and Visa are carried from the same provider, but if you don't offer Discover for one reason or another, then you can certainly uncheck that box. So I'm going to go ahead and leave these 4 checked for my purposes here. Now, we do have some more tabs here at the bottom specifically for the e-commerce. We're going to go over here to Custom Fields. Now, this is a section on the e-commerce page that you can put in whatever you'd like. And I'm just going to go ahead and show you. I'm going to copy the text right here, or rather here. I'll use coupon code 2013 for discount. And I'm going to go ahead and save that, and we'll come back to that in a second. But what that's going to do is that's going to update the e-commerce page with those custom fields. And you'll see that you have 3 spots. One on the main page is going to be right under the picture of the facility, and then there's going to be another one on the rent page when they go to rent a unit, and then the very last there's going to be a page that says, you know, their confirmation of their receipt. At the bottom of that page there's going to be another message that you can customize. Now, you can change these at any time. You can change them throughout the day. You can change them on an everyday basis, whatever you want. If you want to offer a new special, you can offer a coupon code for it, and that can all be done and changed right from here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to hit refresh here just to bring this up again. And you can see use coupon code 2013 for discount has shown up there. So that's just a nice quick way to change those things. And if we go over to the rent a unit page and I select a unit, you can see the custom text right here. Be sure to enter your coupon code at the bottom. And then as we go and complete the rental, which we'll go ahead and do here, now, if there was a coupon code, you would enter it in here and hit apply. I'm going to go ahead. Now, here's our credit cards that you would offer. So you have American Express, Discover, just like we have selected. I'm going to take a Visa card, put in my number, CVV number. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. So this is going to go through. It's going to show where I'm renting the unit from, which is just confirmation. So we see everything. You can verify that everything is correct. And you see that receipt page, that was easy, is listed right here. Now we have your storage rental receipt. It's all right there. And as you can also see, we just did get the pop-up that shows the rental. It rented unit 490, which you can see is true on the page. You can see what they rented, what card they paid with, and right here, you can now, if you have more than one, this is one that I did earlier. You can flip back and forth between these. So if you go to lunch and you come back and you have a bunch, you can obviously flip back and forth to find the ones and just make sure that you see them all. Although they will be in the software just like if they had walked in and moved. So the only thing that needs to be done when someone comes in is you just need to reprint their lease addendum and have them sign that, give them a gate code, and you're done. So that makes things real easy. The display fields, going back to real quickly the home page, or I'm sorry, the rent a unit page. If you only want to show the you know, some of these options, you don't want to show the height, you don't want to show the floor or the location or the door type, you can uncheck these boxes and it won't show those, but that's completely up to you. Most people just leave them there because, I mean, they do provide more information for the customers. Reservation options. If you want to enable reservations online, like we talked about at the beginning, you want to make sure this box is checked, and you can set the number of default days to hold a reservation. So 7 days, 2 days, whatever you want to do, completely up to you. Now, you do have some options for how you want to take the payments here. So if you want to have a $0 reservation, make it no risk, nothing up front. People can reserve a unit for $0 and reduce this down to 1 or 2 days, completely up to you. If you want to give them a 80% discount, so you're only collecting 20% of the rent, you can do that, and then you can round it to the nearest $1 or $5 amount. So when they come in, all they have to do is pay that remaining balance for whatever their rent. So you can put in a discount amount if you'd like, but then you can also charge just a security deposit. And the security deposit is going to be whatever you put into your unit setup as a security deposit for the unit that they are renting. So whichever way you'd like to get that reservation accomplished, you can certainly get that done with these settings here. The last option, if you want to allow your customers to go paperless and have them set to only receive email, bills, invoices, and receipts, you can check this box, and then you can also, for the auto billing. Now, when they are in their customer account, which we'll go into here, and actually here, let's save this, and we'll open it back up. But we'll go over here to make a payment. We'll log in with unit number 8. Put in the password. So you can allow them to go paperless so that they only get emails. So they can do this on their own if you wanted to do this. And then also, if you wanted to have them let them set up for auto payment, they can do that here as well. If they go and make a payment, they can set themselves up to just take a payment for that card in the future automatically. So you can give them those options. You're allowing them to help themselves. You're allowing them to help you by making sure that you don't, one, have to waste money on paper bills and postage to send out and the time spent in stuffing envelopes. And then also the other side of just the convenience for them, you don't have to follow up with them. And that can be real easy to do. So actually, I didn't hit the refresh button. That's why that didn't show up there. But in any case, you see how those options work, and that pretty much covers the internet settings here on this page. Now, for those of you that are not sure how to generate an email blast to your customers, I want to show you real quickly, and then we'll wrap up here. But under the modern view, we have our tenant tab here, and then we have custom letters and labels. You select that. Now, I went ahead and created an email called New Hours of Operation, and it's a very simple email. Just basically said we're changing our office hours, and let us know if you have any questions. But if it's another letter, or if it's a skip letter that you need to send people, hey, you left and didn't pay your bill, whatever it might be, you have your complete list of tenants right here. And then you can also select former tenants or your delinquent tenants. So you can categorize them in those 3 ways. So if you select, you can select the individual ones. You can go down your list. It's sorted by unit number, and you can pick them here. Or you can select all, or if you make a mistake, you can clear all. Now, for our purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and select a few here to send this email to. And I'm going to select this. I'm going to preview it just so you can see what it looks like. But it's going to generate, from where it's from. You can customize this in the word processor, and you can put a logo up here if you'd like. Again, in the word processor, just like you create any custom image. But you can see the messages. We'll be changing our office hours from 9 a.m. to 5, or from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. starting July 1st, 2013. Please let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for your business, me. So just a very simple message going out. But with that selected, that was the preview. I have these 3 tenants selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit email. It's going to say, are you sure you want to do this? I'm going to click yes. It generated that email. Now, if we go over to our outbox, which is under Tools, and right here in View Outbox, we will see those 3 emails listed right here. Now, of course, we have their email addresses removed, and we have these in here. But you can hit send, and it will send that email out. Or if you made a mistake, you can go ahead and purge it like I will now. I don't need to send this email 3 times to sales@quikstor.com. But you get the idea. And if you create an email blast, you want to tell customers about new summer hours, or you want to send them a new special, or if you're getting the pavement redone, whatever the case might be, you can certainly contact them via email and save on postage and likely get them in their pocket because they have their email on their phone. Okay, lastly, I do want to cover one quick thing, which is our mail service that we've offered. Now, I did a webinar on this, which you can certainly go and watch on our QuikStor webinar archives. But basically, we partnered a few years ago with a company called Accountable Document Solutions, and they offer a digital way for you to not deal with any mailing. If you don't have the time, and if you have hundreds and hundreds of letters that you need to send out, this company, you set up an account with them, and we can send you their pricing if you'd like. But they certainly have. You can set it up right here from their website, which you can get from the program. And again, I'm sorry if you didn't watch. I jumped into the QuikStor button and then change site setup. And it's the last tab down here called Mail Service. This is something that we need to enable for you, so let us know if you are interested. But what it can do, if instead of the default options down here, if you want to have ADS take care of your first late notices or any document down here, all you have to do is hit the Mail Service button, and it will generate a first-class letter. You know, at the end of the day during the overnight process. The program will send ADS a file and the information where it needs to go, the address and things, and they will generate a first-class letter, including all, with your notice inside of it, and send it to your customer. Now, obviously, there is a charge for this, but it certainly does save you a lot of time. And they can also generate a certificate of mailing, or if you need to do a certified letter for a lien sale or pre-lien notice, you can do that right from here, and then also have a return receipt. Now, we also offer the ability for the program to print, instead of printing, or rather when you print the notice, it will also print a certified label. And then you get, they will provide you with the certified letter envelope, and you put that label on there, and you let your post office know that you need these picked up, or you just write your regular mail, and they will be sent out. And you can also have it generate a return receipt, just to make sure that all your bases are covered. But for this, you have the options to do that for your first, second, and third late notice, pre-lien, lien sale, and also for invoice, and then also for your alternate. So it's a real easy way to take that off of your plate, to make sure that that gets done. Yes, there is an additional cost to it, but we all know how valuable your time is, and likely that would be worth it to you. But once you contact ADS, they will provide you with a client code, a group name, a username, and a password. And once you have that information in here, you hit the button. It's going to go ahead and test it. And as you can see, it will say that the credentials have been verified. So that pretty much covers all we wanted to cover today. I certainly want to thank you again for joining us. This webinar will be available in a short time for future viewing. It will be on our website under the Support Center and under our webinar archives. Please feel free to let us know if you have any questions at all, and I certainly thank you again for joining us. Have a great day.